welcome to an all-new live The Ann Lynn Show with your hosts, Ann and Lynn. On today's show, we welcome CFP of the Survival Living Channel. Have you ever wondered about how to prep for a natural disaster, water filtration, or what to do in case of an emergency? Today's the show for you. And now, here are Ann and Lynn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Ann Lynn Show. I'm Ann.
And I'm Lynn.
Have you got your coffee?
Yes, and Totally T's got her coffee. You
Yeah,
ready?
Totally Tea. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Clink.
Boing.
Welcome everybody to an all-new live show.
That's right. We're live.
Yes,
And we have
are.
a wonderful guest this morning, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But before we go there, I just want to say good morning to everybody. Who have we got here today? Jim.
Wow.
Jim, welcome.
We have Tina, Barefoot Lass. We said Totally T, Einstein's mom, Petra A, I believe is listening, and Thomas from Austria. Oh, it's good to have everyone here.
And we have Tony 915 and
That's
Deb
right.
from above, Deborah. Oh, Tracy Quibrell, Tracy, who, oh my goodness. Oh, this is wonderful. We have so many wonderful people. I know some of these are followers and subscribers for our special guest, and we hope that you'll stay with us too. And
That's right.
yes. And so anyhow, I wanted to just take a moment back, and we had Orange Kitty on, didn't we?
Yes,
we had
did.
Nurse Orange Kitty on, and then we were talking about these with Nurse Orange Kitty, and I got mine in the mail. I don't know if you can see.
Yes.
My septic pencils.
Septic pencils. Thank you.
Pencils. These were to stop bleeding if men cut themselves shaving,
Yes.
ladies cut yourself shaving, and you used to put these little septic sticks on it, and it would help to clot the blood. And so
Yes.
I just wanted to say to Orange Kitty, thank you for helping us to remember these, and I ordered mine right away.
They're great. I'm a little bit older than you, but I remember I grew up on those because when I still have problems shaving my legs.
Oh,
nicking him.
I kind of think as you get older, it kind of goes away.
Not yet. I must not be too old.
No, you're not that old. Of course not. No, really, you're not.
Of course not.
And
your nose is growing, Ann.
No, well, hey, if you're old, I'm bringing. Okay, all right. So, hey, anybody out there, if you would like to join us on the Ann Lynn Show live, write to us at lynnan1740@gmail.com. If you have a special hobby, email us. If you have a hobby or something that you'd like to share with our channel, a special skill, or what do you email me. I read those emails every day. So email me and let's get together and have you on. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Before we bring on our guest, I want to say shout out to Mama C. She's joined us.
Yes. Welcome, Mama C. Well, Lynn, there's been, if you watch the news a lot, it's kind of a bummer, isn't it? But it's a lot of times there's not much good news. But
right.
Today, I found something today, Lynn. We've all got to watch. I thought this was hysterical.
Okay.
So I've got a little video clip that I'm going to bring up, and I got to find my note about it. Bear with me here, because I wrote down. I got to set it up. So, I guess a lawyer accidentally appears as a cat in a virtual court case. Apparently, his child had been on Zoom with the cat filter previously, and you've got to see this. It is hysterical. I'm going to bring this up. If you've not seen this, oh my gosh, people, this is our laugh for the day.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're trying to, can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
When I saw that video, I just busted a gut, especially when he goes, "I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat." And the funny thing is, the judge, I happened to see that. It's the only thing I really saw today. The judge had to help him get that filter off.
Oh, can you imagine how embarrassing? But what a good little butt
Good laugh.
Yeah, what a good little butt gust that we needed today. So anyhow,
that's right.
I found that funny, so I had to share that with everybody.
Oh.
And now, without further ado,
yes,
I'm going to bring in our special guest, who is CFP, Central Florida Prepper of the Survival Living Channel. And everybody give him a warm welcome. And
all right.
Here's Survival Living. Woo-hoo! Welcome to the Ann Lynn Show.
Definitely appreciate it, ladies. I want you to know I am not a cat.
And meow, meow.
If I try the leg shaving thing, I might need a bush hog.
Oh, probably some women out there too.
Hey.
Well, I did go out to California and hung out in Berkeley for a while, so yeah, maybe.
Oh, well, we're so happy that you are on our show today, and we're just going to get right into it. So you just do a ton of stuff on your channel, and something that I was really impressed with was that you've written a book. And tell us about the book, and then now you are reading it as an audio book, and I found that. I listened to it. That is something that my husband would love. And I do like war stories. And we watch a lot of history in our house because he's a big, huge history and all the different, 1 and 2 and all the other skirmishes. And so tell us about your book. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to ask about your son. How is your son?
My son Joseph, he's doing much better. He's running around now with a small cough and still a snotty nose. But as a boy, what are you going to do, right? He's doing much better. Fever's gone. His chest is cleared out. So he does have a small cough. It's kind of like whatever's residual left in it. But he's still quarantined. They still got, I think, another 5 days for quarantine, I believe it is.
Oh, my.
But they're at the house. My youngest son did not get it. It's just my oldest son did. So luckily he bypassed that one.
Oh, yes. So everybody knows what we're talking about. He had the virus. Yep. So anyhow, we've been praying for your son, and I'm so glad to hear that he's much better. So we wanted to
I was worried about it because of all the other things he's had to deal with complications, and it scared me. It did.
Absolutely. As a parent, it would be terrible. So tell us about your book. How did you
come about doing
that?
What's that now?
How did you come about to write a book?
I was told I could never do it. I did it out of spite. All right. Years ago, I was working as a mechanic, and I was just tired of always working for somebody all the time. And I love reading, and I decided, I sat down with the girl I was dating at the time. I said, you know what, I'm gonna sit down and write a book. Her response, you're not educated enough. And then later, other things separated, and I just like, you know what, a pure spite, I'm gonna do it. So I sat down, I worked on it for a couple of years, and I did find a small publishing company. It was a print on demand self-publishing company, iUniverse. So basically, I had to pay to get it edited and published. So it wasn't like somebody, I sent a lot of manuscript off, and unless you really know somebody, it's kind of hard to deal with the book industry. I mean, you're not going to get anything out. So I went that way, and in 2006 we got it published. We had just under 15,000 copies actually sell, but that, I mean, to me it was amazing. But it's not in the literature world, it's not much. So it was part of a trilogy. And I had the second one in manuscript form. I didn't have the third one written yet. And I pretty much got dropped. I talked to them like, you know what? It's not doing good. And I don't recommend you investing the money into the sequel. So we kind of just let it go the way it is. I do still write. Since I started YouTubing, though, I really don't have much time. I work part-time at a gas station now just to extra income. And, we're doing YouTube. I got 400 and almost 500 videos out now. YouTubing takes a lot of time, a lot of preparation.
It does.
So when it comes to writing, I really don't have. I'm still writing my freight train story, and that's only a quarter of the way through, and I've been working on that thing for years. So yeah, it takes a lot of time to write. It really does.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was really great. I listened to and I thought your voice, as reading it, you have the voice to do that. You could do voiceovers and anything like that. It's called American Retaliation.
Yeah.
Wait till you get to hear my woman's voice. Because the character, I'm the only person, okay? So I have to do all the voices and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had to do a president's voice. I had to do reporters' voices. And of course, there's females in the story, so I'm having to change my voice. I'm going to talk about feeling a little insecure. Well, yeah. But, I'm having fun with it. Like I said, the novel didn't take off or anything like that, but I enjoy the story. So I'm enjoy speaking about it. Being a prepper, I've been prepping for many years. And even though it's a war fiction novel, it deals a lot with SHTF. I mean, it is a World War event. I messed up. I used the wrong word. A WW event. And it follows through the bunker days and skirmishes and everything else that could, in fact, play. One of the early reviews I had on it, they said it's similar to Red Dawn without certain people. Okay. And I'm like, well, yeah, I didn't have original Patrick Swayze, and now we got the dude from Thor, the new one. Both were really good, but I'm releasing as chapters right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine it all at the end and just release the whole book. But I'm taking visual effects, actual photos, and I'm green screening myself into these photos, so it actually has a timeline photo with the story. So I'm getting all my gear out and stuff like that. I have to use airsoft bang bangs because for a certain reason. But it looks legit, and it just gives that little extra visual effect. Right now, I just putting a picture up just to have a picture up. So it's a big project, but it's so far it's coming out all right, I think. I'm enjoying it.
I think listening to you and if I just shut my eyes and listen to you, it was an awesome, because you were descriptive. So and the different voices. So yeah, that's something that, I mean, I know I'm a lady, but that interests me because I like those type of movies. I mean, some of my favorite movies are are like that, are war stories.
Yeah, and this one here, I wanted the reader to feel involved with the story, and the character will talk to the reader throughout the story. I had to build up the basis for the character and the other characters, but part of the story, I mean, the character is actually talking to the reader. I wanted to include them and bring them in. I don't know if it helped or not. It's a little idea I want to play with. I've never done it with any other writing stuff. But that's the only one that's ever been published. I had some short stories published in speculative fiction years ago, little articles. That's just sword and fantasy type of stuff.
Oh, that's the kind of stuff that would be cool if you could, bring some more of those to your channel so that we could see them, because That's just awesome. I think it was just really good. I really enjoyed watching that video, and I just want to encourage you to, and just keep doing it, because I know I'm going to show my husband that's something that he would be interested in. And so I thought that was really cool.
I'd like to say, Mama C said, my son is writing, don't give up, survival living. My son is writing, so don't give up. And it doesn't sound like you are.
No, it's just trying to find the time. When we start homesteading in Wyoming, I don't know. I mean, during the winter months, I guess I have plenty of time to write. But yeah, it's just the time between trying to push the channel on YouTube. And I think I put like 28 videos out in 30 days, 28 days. I mean, that was a lot of videos, and it took up all the time I had. I mean, it's just, I got to find that, I have to find that medium balance. But when you're on YouTube and you're trying to push your channel, you have to push a lot of videos. It's just one of those, every creator has to do it.
Yes. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Well, yeah,
I do
Happy New Year.
Was that Christmas music?
That was
when my screen changes colors because it's reflecting off my coffee cup.
Oh,
my
you're
lens.
fine.
So when it gets dark, that's I just realized what it's doing.
Oh, it's fine. I love your coffee cup. We had a contest.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I had one made up, and we had a contest and gave one away. We don't even have our own, do we, Lynn? We need to get some Ann Lynn coffee.
Oh, I know.
Mugs. I know. Write that down. We need to get some of them. But I got a chuckle this morning too out of watching your video when you were in your little ghillie suit.
Yeah, I was feeling some kind of way. I came out with that a while back. I used to do outros and stuff on my videos, and I will admit that inspiration was from Marfugo TV, because he does a shoutro.
Yes.
And it's just a little something out there. And my brother plays the jaw harp, and he irritates me with that thing all the time. I can't stand it. But he's sitting there playing it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to film you just recording of it. So he's doing it. He said, what are you going to do with this? I said, I'm going to dance, which I can't dance at all. It's bad. So I got the ghillie suit out, and that was my outro for a couple videos. And last night, I don't know, I was sitting looking at my analytics and stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to title this one, A YouTuber Snaps. And then I put that out there just to, hey, sometimes you just got to break loose. And I mean, a lot of people say, well, I'm real serious and stuff on my show. I am to a certain extent, but I also try to break the monotony of things and, just goof off every once in a while.
Well, I thought
survival is very important.
Right. I thought that was right up there with the cat video this morning. I got a big
It was great. It was great.
We talked about trying to find a ghillie suit one time, didn't we, Lynn?
We sure did. We were going to go Bigfoot hunting.
Mm-hmm. Well, my brother asked me to help him. I'm sorry.
I say Memo was going to go Bigfoot hunting, if you know
Okay,
Memo.
there you go. Yeah. So my brother was wanting to start a channel, and he was wanting to do a Bigfoot hunting channel and stuff. I mean, I've been all over the country. I was out there in the Northwest and everything, out in Oregon and Wyoming. I was all over Washington, all that stuff, and I've never come across anything. But the fact is, that's a lot of square miles to find anything. But he's like, you know what, I'm going to start doing that. Maybe do a YouTube channel to help, you help me film. Well, he has an old ape suit from the amusement park that we worked at last summer that he walks around with. So we're filming with it and stuff. I said, what do you think? Does it look real? I said, you look like an idiot. But we were having fun with it. He hasn't done anything with the channel yet. He hasn't even created the channel. We're just messing around and stuff. And he fell for the, he wanted to go buy this camera and that camera, and this is what I need. I'm looking at him like, don't spend $6,000-$7,000 on a camera when you first start, because you will be disheartened when you first take off and you only get 10 views. It just happens. And he did that. He was doing a VR virtual reality gaming channel years ago, back when I first started my channel, and he didn't know how to do tags and keywords and thumbnails, and he was just getting frustrated at comments. People were, I don't like the sound of your redneck voice and all this stuff. And he's like, well, this is how I talk. And he quit. He's like, I'm done. I can't deal with these people. I want to put my hands on them. I'm like, I get that, but you can't. And now
No.
I will admit I have blown up a couple times, especially recently. I let stuff get to me. I mean, I'm human, but it's not right. It's not right to. I mean, it's okay to address things, but it's not right to your subscribers, your community, to blow up. I mean, they're there to learn something or be a part of the community, not to be hearing you rant and rave. And that's one of the things I learned from Adam there at Marfigo TV, the way he deals with that. I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't say I learned. I've watched him do, and I'm like, I don't know how he does it, because after I click off, I've yelled a couple of times. I'm a guy. Sometimes, like, are you kidding me? But it happens. I don't know. I have to be a fly on his wall just to see what happens.
Yeah, he is amazing.
He sure is. Well, I want to talk about, I've watched your videos, and just, I've watched that you have a vacuum sealer, and you have one that just a basic, you said, it's been working for you. And I think those are great. We both have one, don't we, Ann? Vacuum sealer.
I use mine almost every day. It's right on the counter.
We burnt one out. So we had to buy a second. That we're on our second one.
I'm on my third.
Okay.
Yeah, when I bought that particular one, I was injured from work. I was going through surgeries, and the one we had was a very expensive one, and it finally burned up. I couldn't afford a $100+ vacuum sealer, so I went on Amazon. I found that one. It was like $20-some, almost $30, and we've been using that one for almost 2 years now. And I did buy a backup just in case, and it's just a plain Jane vacuum sealer. There's no jar attachments or anything else like that. But I don't travel with jars, because we're in that 6x12 trailer. That's what we're traveling with when we get to Wyoming. Once we're there, we'll start canning and stuff like that. Trying to travel with glass jars, not recommended. Things happen. So we didn't ever do that. Like I said, it was $30, and we when I buy the bags, I go through Amazon. Same with the O2 absorbers. I know some people don't like Amazon. They got their hang-ups, and that's fine. I respect that. It's just the way I look at it. I've also seen it with shopping at Walmart. Well, I don't like that store because of such and such.
Right.
But you need to be doing something. Okay. I can take $10 at Walmart and buy a bunch of preps for my family to eat, compared to holding on. Well, I'm not going there. I'm going to go here and only buy one item when I just bought 10 items over there. And I've seen where people say, well, I go to the Dollar Tree, and I'm not against Dollar Tree. I bought plenty of things from the Dollar Tree, but sometimes it's not the best value. If you look at the weight and the calorie intake on some of the foods, it's actually cheaper to go to Walmart, Aldi's, wherever, and buy there, because the same amount of weight is differently priced. So, shop around.
Well, I know, what was it? I have to think for a moment. We had a green bean shortage in our area before you moved, Ann.
Yeah.
And we could still find green beans at the Dollar Tree, and they were Libby's. I don't know. We don't have a sponsor, but
they were name brand. I believe
they were name brand. Maybe the Green Giant. I'm not sure, but they were.
Yeah. When all of this first started and everybody made a mad dash for all the TP and all that stuff, and then the green beans, there were in our local Walmart zero. Except for, I have to say, there were those Italian cut ones, which nobody kind of likes.
Our area doesn't.
Yeah. There was some of those, and maybe some French cut. I don't like them either. I don't personally care for either of those too much. So a Dollar Tree had it. So the thing about the Dollar Tree that I found, I do shop there too, but when you're buying food, you want to make sure it says it's manufactured and it's from the United States. Some of that stuff is not. So I do look at the bottom. I read the labels for that. Don't you, Lynn?
Absolutely.
Because some of it comes from overseas.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. But then our local Walmart went back and we're fine.
Yes.
To having things on the shelf, of course. So we stocked up. And like you said, we have what's called a ruler. It's like Aldi's. It's like a Kroger, Aldi's, you might say. So, and they carry it doesn't matter. I'll either get their brand, which is Kroger brand, or I shop around, like you said. I shop around.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I watch
we're
you,
not
you know.
rich.
Go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
we aren't.
We're not
No.
rich. You got to shop around. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I wish we could get everything in one place, but I've never been able to do that because I have to go to Walmart to get certain things. I go to Dollar General to get certain things. I go to the local grocery and then we found a mom and pop grocery store about 4 miles from where I'm at, and they have the best meat. So I've been going up there, and we've been making meat runs up there and bringing it back and sealing it. And then sometimes we, make a run an hour away to Costco. I like Costco, and so you do have to shop around, try to get the best bang for your buck because it only goes so far, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does.
We've got some wonderful people here that popped in. I do want to just say real quick, I'm going to back up. We've got AMAZ Lynn. AMAZ Lynn, I would say welcome. And Vlad Groots is in the house. We love our Vlad. Vivian Potter, Eric Elliott, and let's see who else. Totally T. Oh, I see T. And there was somebody. There was a couple other.
There's RWR.
RWR. Gene W.
Yes.
So I do want to say welcome. RE55 has a wonderful channel himself, and so Vlad or one of our Barefoot Lass, if you'll drop some of these links in our chat, because we want everybody to go over and substitute to Survival Living. Make sure that link gets in there, and all these wonderful channels that have joined us today. We just want to say welcome to
Ann.
Yes.
And we want them to sub. We want them to subscribe, not substitute.
Oh, well, don't substitute, subscribe.
Excuse me.
But if you want to learn the lessons and substitute for yourself, go right ahead. If you want to buy a can of corn, go buy a can of beans, whatever. It works.
Then,
I got a question for you. Okay. Are you finding seeds are very hard to find this past year? I have a niece that grows her own plants from seeds, and she has boxes of seeds that organic. Okay. But do we find seeds are hard to find? Should we be putting some seeds away right now?
Question to me?
Yes. I'm sorry, Survivor Living. Yes.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes. I definitely say put seeds back. We grow every year. Last summer we grew 2 seed. It's one of the things that we kind of foresaw. I mean, just looking at everything going on, especially with GMO modifications on seeds.
Yes.
We use heritage seeds.
Yes.
Now I've seen where others have said, well, if you buy Walmart, they're not heritage. You can't regrow them. That's not entirely true. There's a lot of heritage seeds at Walmart, and there's a lot of heritage seeds at the Dollar Tree. Now, the issue I've had with the Dollar Tree, and this was just my experience, not everyone's experience, most of the seeds I purchased at the Dollar Tree, when I did the ratio, most of them did not germinate. Now, there was some that did germinate, but most of the packet did not. But that could have just been a bad batch that I got. So we grow 2 seed, and then we actually did a video on how to dry out and collect your seeds. And we vacuum seal all of our seeds afterwards, and that's what we grow off the following year.
Yes.
We did purchase a survival seed packet from Amazon a while back, and we grew that last year just to test it out and everything. I think I paid like $16 for it at the time. And last year, the same packet was $50-some on Amazon.
Yes.
It just went through the roof. And that's what I'm seeing from the higher quality stock seeds. I get magazines and catalogs for seeds, and all those prices have went up. So if you got the opportunity now and you see them at a good deal, go ahead and get them. Vacuum seal them up, put them away. As long as you keep it in a nice, cool area where it's dark, you're going to be fine. Germination in seeds, they lose germination over the years. All right, it's just percentage wise, and it just depends on the conditions they're stored. Okay, so I've seen where people have grown 20 years later. So they've said, I haven't seen the whole process, but that's what they're saying. So I'm going to take it as fact. But I've never, I've never tried to grow a seed after 20 years later. I went 5 years afterwards and run into germination problems. So, you need to grow small first, get your seedlings up, and then take them outdoors. It works best. Some of the larger, hardier crops you can put right in the ground, like corn. Put it right in the ground; it's going to come up. There's a lot of good information online. Go on, do basic Google searches. There's a lot of plants that you can actually grow next to another plant, and they mate with each other. Like I like putting green beans with corn because the nitrogen deposit it helps them both grow. So there's all kind of different things you can mate up, and there's some things you don't want to mate up. So you just do your research on it. Just takes. There's a lot of good information on Google as far as some of these growing sites. Just sit down, write down the information. You can get growing catalogs for free. Just type in free growing catalog. You'll get a lot of them for free. The downside is you'll get one like every few months, and it's just irritating because they stuff your mailbox full. But I like reading.
Good, good.
So, what would you suggest for someone like me who doesn't really have any land that I can utilize for a garden? We have a very small lot, and so I have really no outside space. If I could do container gardening, that's probably going to be my only option where I'm at now is container gardening. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I've done a lot of container gardening. I've used 5-gallon buckets many times. What I'm looking into, and this is one thing I'm trying to perfect, because when we get to Wyoming, we're going to have to do greenhouses. You can actually get small greenhouses. They're no bigger than a shed, and you can actually stack vertically against your walls, and you actually have more space to grow. Now, something that small is not going to feed your family. That's just going to help offset some meals. You have to have a lot of room to feed a family. You have to have a lot of room just for one person if you plan on growing yearly. So it does take a lot of room, but you can also use those greenhouses to do seeds, to grow the seed, save those seeds. And when time comes, let's say you got a community together and you're able to pick a plot out. Everyone's going to work together on this. Now you have the seed bank, and y'all pick a piece of property out, whatever, to grow a garden. You have the ability to do that. So yeah, I do understand having a small area. When I was in Apopka, Florida, I had a small strip in the backyard, and everything was potted plants because we had a lot of feral cats in the area. I couldn't get anything to grow in the ground. It was just rough. So everything had to be in pots.
Yeah, I think I could do containers, and the other thing I have thought about getting is one of those, because I have a great spot in a room that I could have stuff grow like there in front of this window. But those little you buy them like at Bed Bath and Beyond or wherever, and you grow a little garden. You know what I'm talking about, Lynn? One of those
like for like for herbs.
Yes, you could do herbs or something in a little. Yeah, they have the grow light over them, that kind of a deal that you can buy.
Yeah.
Probably get it on Amazon too, I'm sure. I thought about that. So I don't know. I need to do some thinking.
Alaska Prepper did, he's been doing some videos on I think it's air raid garden. I forget the name of it. It's basically growing inside. That is possible. You can actually grow inside, like say you have a designated room, but you are going to need some grow lights. Now, grow lights are not cheap. All right, the cost effective and the outputs and the energy used, you got to figure in. Most people that use grow lights are using for medicinal purposes, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Yes.
But for growing a vegetable garden, the amount of lighting that you're going to need. We used to do a review for grow lights, and unfortunately mine quit working. It was like $160 light that they wanted me to review, and it stopped working like after a month or 2 months, and I'm like, that is not worth the investment. Now there are some grow lights you can get like at Walmart that are not the full spectrum of different lights and everything. A lot cheaper, like $40 a bulb compared to $160.
Yeah.
It's something you got to play around with. I don't have a lot of experience as far as growing a garden indoors. I've seen it done. I've seen other types of garden grown indoor. I lived in Oregon for a while, but it's something to play around with. Just do some research on it. But
Yeah,
it's going to cost more to do it indoors than it does outdoors.
So then sometimes I think it's just easier to go to the store and buy a case of green beans and put that away, right? And probably in my case.
Well, for preps, yeah. But it's still a good idea to have your seeds back for when there's no way to purchase food or food being way too expensive. We're starting to see prices of food go up, and a lot of us are projecting that it's going to go through the roof as far as our normal foods. We're going to have to start substituting for other things. And if you look back in history, back in the Depression days, a lot of people had to substitute a lot. They couldn't afford certain things, or there just wasn't the availability.
That's right.
Now,
That's right.
the fat cats, they got to eat normal, like nothing happened. But everybody else on down the line, they suffered from it. So cabbage stew and stuff like that, if you don't want to eat cabbage 5 times out of the week, start putting some food back, start learning how to grow, because that's going to be key. Feeding your family is most important.
Right. And I've heard like rice and beans, those are great meal stretchers, and and canned soups, adding a canned soup to rice and a little meat, that there's ways to stretch and make it last, rice will definitely boost up any meal. So so there's a lot
also,
of things to do.
I'm sorry. Also, you said that there's calories in that. We want to watch our calories. I remember you said, I was watching where you put the rice away and the beans, and then you could add chicken or something, whatever you wanted to add, the beef bouillons. But you said make sure that you have the calories there.
Yeah. There's a lot of meals that will fill you up, but you don't have the nutrition value as far as calories going in. And you need it's easy just to stack food up and say, okay, I've got a lot of food, I'm good. But when you actually look at the calorie intake and the nutrition in it, did you really stack the right food? Now, rice and beans, full of protein, got calories, but eventually you would just get tired of eating nothing but rice and beans. If you don't believe me, take a week and just cook nothing but rice and beans 3 meals a day. Let's see how long you're going to enjoy doing that. But yeah, mixing things up is a great idea. I'd highly recommend that. One of the easiest things, I have people ask me, well, I went and bought 20 pounds of rice. What do I do with it? And I had some friends up in New York, actually, during that shutdown. They had rice and stuff, and they're like, I'm not really sure what to make with it. They bought it, but they didn't know what to make with it. Take the time now. We have internet access. Go to Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever you want to. Recipes for rice. You will have hundreds of different types of recipes. Pick through which one's easy to prep for. There's so many different meals. Now, is rice the ultimate prep? Well, it's one of the basic preps we go to. There's so much other stuff. But prep what you normally eat. All right? You eat green beans, corn, whatever it is that you normally eat. Find the canned item of it. Start prepping that. We put everything in a rotational stock first. Basically, when we make our meals, we pull from our preps. That way our dates are always up to date. And then when we buy more, we put in the back and constantly rotate it. This isn't something new. This isn't something just for preppers. People have been doing it this way for generations. This is a normal pantry. This is nothing brand new.
No. No. I can remember, when Lynn and I were kids, you never know what's going to happen. One Christmas Eve, we lost power, and we didn't have power for a couple of days. We had a snowstorm, and we grew up in Michigan, and they were huge snowstorms, weren't they, Lynn?
Yeah, blizzards.
As a kid, we thought it was great because we got to, Mom and Dad used the fireplace, and we got to use candles, and so as a kid, we thought it was great. I'm sure our mom and dad were stressed a little bit, weren't they, Lynn? I know. I'm sure. I know that our aunt and uncle that lived next door, they were not prepared in any way for that kind of a circumstance. And they said, you remember, they went out and before the next winter, they had bought a camp stove. Do you remember that, Lynn?
Yep.
They go ahead and talk about that.
I'm just saying they prepared.
Because they were not, they didn't have anything. And here we were in this snowstorm, and it was quite substantial. So they said, never again, or we're going to be caught like that. And so, I think that's, we never know what's going to happen. If the power is going to go out, what are you going to do? there's a lot of circumstances, that could happen. So they had the fires out in California. We know of a fellow that got burned out. I mean, you just never know what life's going to bring you. So you need to be prepared. And one of the things that I liked that you did was a video on how to start a campfire. You were talking about camping. And now we grew up tent camping, as kids.
Yes.
And so I like it. I do it now if I had the chance of somebody take me tent camping, I'd do it because I thought it was fun. So I'll sleep on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, I prefer tent. I prefer tent camping. Taking an RV is not camping to me.
No, I mean it's nice, I'm sure, but tent camping. But you showed us how to make a campfire. So how do you do that? Can you just tell us what's the easy way to start a fire?
A lot of gasoline. No. So I did grab this morning. I grabbed my wife's fire starting kit out of her bug out bag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So in that video, I actually showed using a magnesium fire starter. The let's see if I can find it here. Yeah. Well, hers is all vacuum sealed. I don't know if that's going to pick up or not.
Yep, we see it. We see it.
Okay, so we use that. It's got the flint striker and everything on that one. And of course, I'm dropping all kind of good stuff.
You got yours in?
So that's my go-to. These things are very easy to use. I've shown it many times, and we've always done that. It's real easy. She knows how to operate this, so very simple.
And then
we also keep matches. This one here is
the
wax tipped. That way, these are waterproof. I waterproof to myself, and of course we keep strikers and stuff like that in the packs. Lighters, always keep extra lighters, butane lighters. And let's see what else is in her kit. That's a Espit camp fuel. These are solid fuel, little white fuel tablets.
Where do you get those?
You can get these online. These come with those little foldable stoves, and it's just a solid fuel tab. They light up very easily, and they start fires very well. That's why we don't ever use the stove itself for cooking, and we just use these for fire starting. Makes it a lot easier. We have Vaseline and makeup pads. These things are highly flammable. Now, they won't explode or anything like that, but if you throw a spark on them, and I've shown just using the magnesium fire starters, they go up quick. And they burn for a lot longer. I mean, they'll light fast, and they burn plenty hot and for a long time to start a fire.
Wow.
Let's see what else we got in here. Oh, yeah. I love these things. This is a waterproof case here, but this is the UCO storm matches. These things are waterproof, windproof. And they smoke a lot because, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They last about 12 to 13 seconds. You can actually dunk them in water. And I've shown in the past videos where I've dunked them in water and they light right back up.
What is that called again?
This is the UCO Storm Match.
UCO Storm.
You can get them in little boxes at Walmart, or you can get them with a little waterproof case and stuff. We used to use these in our fire starting kits when we used to sell those. Well, actually, we still do, but like I said, it produces a lot of smoke, and I'm in the truck, and I had the door shut. Wife's gonna love that. So here we also have a magnified lens in her case.
Yes.
That way she can start a fire. But I try to make sure I have all kind of different ways. I have some not petroleum jelly. I have sterno, basically sterno, and hold on. Basically, those are packaged up. Those are in her kit as well, in the back there. So it's easy to light and stuff. But I did that video because a lot of people just don't know how to, believe it or not, start a fire. Yeah. And I've been on camping trips and stuff, and they have no clue. Basically, you want to start a tinder bundle as fine as can be, and then you work your way up to smaller sticks, twigs, and then your bigger logs. But we did that video, and I actually had some comments. Well, anybody knows how to start a fire? No, that's not true. You might know how to start a fire, but there are people that's never been camping before. There's people that's never lit a fire before. So that's why we did the video, is to teach people how. I get there's some experienced preppers. Absolutely. I mean, I know quite a bit. I don't know everything, but I see some comments like that. I'm like, well, this obviously wasn't for you. This is for the person looking to figure out how to do it,
Right. Yes. It's great. I want to just read some chat real quick, if that's all right.
Yes.
Vlad said, I buy local whole hog butchered, and the price shot up 33% because of the feed. So he's already experienced a third. And then he also said, there's talking about, are they arrow gardening? Is that the indoor? That
might be the name of it. That might be the name.
Anyway, I think Vlad has bought a kit. I believe we just got Arrow Garden, and it's not set up. And hydroponics. So that's the water gardening, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
a lot
tried
of them out there.
hydroponics. Yeah, I tried hydroponics, and it's an intricate system. It does take some investing to get it right, and it can be done. We're going to do it in Wyoming until we have our own fish stock, because there's not much fishing out there where we're at. So being able to use the nutrients that the fish are producing, so the garden will grow off of that. It's a whole system, but man, it is very smoky in here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to open up my door right fast.
Go right ahead.
I do need to go use the restroom real quick.
Okay, you go. You go ahead, and I'll bring you back when you're back.
Okay.
So I also want to say, Tracy Kubral, I hope I'm saying that right, said seasonings are important, and that crossed my mind too when it comes to having, if you got a lot of rice and beans and things, and you don't know what to put with it. Seasonings, right?
You've got to,
all your seasonings.
I know. And you can change the seasonings up. You could do Italian, or you could do the cumin and the cayenne and kind of do the more of that, more of the Spanish type influence. I mean, you could just really, or you can make gravy and have the country.
Yeah, the gravy packets.
That's right. That's right. Well, I didn't get to I'll tell them about survival living, but today in the Midwest, we're expecting winter weather with ice.
Yes,
and
you are.
below where I live, way below where I live, they're going to have up to 1/2 inch of ice. And, that is going to put a strain on everyone because it'll ice up. Now, we're ready if our heat goes out and our electricity does go out for some time. We're prepared. At least for that minimal.
Right, because when ice gets on the lines, there's absolutely nothing you can do. You just have to wait it out at that point, don't you?
And if it doesn't seem to warm up, then it's not going to melt very fast. So I'm going to be leaving here in a little. Well, I think I have plenty of time. I'm going to actually go with our brother to another appointment, and it's in the direction of where they'll have some ice. But we're going to go early. We're going as soon as I'm off of here. We're going to head out.
Yeah, you better take some stuff with you in the vehicle, so in case you end up on the side of the road, you won't freeze.
I know, and that's something you should have in your car.
Yes.
I was just saying, survival living, that in our area today we're expecting an ice storm.
Mm-hmm.
And below where I live, it's up to 1/2 inch. So as soon as we're finished here, I'm going to be taking my brother to a eye doctor appointment in another town from another city. And so we're going to go early and try to get back before it actually hits. Hopefully we'll do that. But Ann said, make sure you have some things in the vehicle, like blanket, something in case we're caught out. And I want to show you, what do you think about this Survivor Living? I picked this up at Cracker Barrel. Look at that. Pocket
survival guide
at Cracker Barrel. It was $9.95, and it's just the simplest of the simplest basics. But like you said, there's things we don't know how to do. Simple things. Start a fire, like you said. How do we do it? How do I tie a rope? How do I make a lean-to? Different things in here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and with those type of books, definitely take it outside and try it.
Absolutely.
That's the main thing. It's always good to have information on hand, but when it comes to the actual survival situation, sometimes you don't have that there, and you didn't read it, and you didn't retain the knowledge. So definitely work on. I tell everybody, work on the project outside. That's why we do the outdoor survival stuff, just to show people certain skill sets and stuff. Because if you've done it, then you know it. Just like making a deadfall. I've made so many over the years, I can do it in my sleep now. I don't have to sit there and try to figure out what notches I got to use anymore, stuff like that. To hit on having stuff in your vehicle, that's a great idea. Hand warmers, I'm sure you've seen those things, little packets and stuff. Those are great to have, along with blankets. I always carry water in the vehicle at all time. Always carry water in the vehicle. We carry food and stuff like that. As far as the vehicle itself, kitty litter works great. Pack of rock salt, throw it in the back, and a 2x4. Even though it's only like 4 foot to 3 foot long, that does a lot of stuff when you try to get out of a situation.
Absolutely.
So just throw it in the trunk. It doesn't take up much room, unless you're always driving with your vehicle packed all the time. It doesn't take much room to throw that stuff in there. I mean, we have chains and stuff like that, and we're still in Florida. But we know we're going to go to Wyoming, so we already have our chains and all that stuff, just so we have it.
Yes. I want to take a minute and just welcome Think Agape Love Always and Forever. Welcome. And then I have a question from Ari55. He says he wants to ask you, Survival, about riding the rails and any railroad stories.
Well, I have talked a little bit about that on the channel. The reason I don't go in depth with it, one, it's illegal. All right. Okay. You will get a ticket. And if you get caught on what they call the mail train, which actually carries postal mail, that's actually can be a felony. I don't really tell people how to do that because it's an illegal act. Yes, I did it for a good while, year and a half. But I really don't go into details on it just because of that reason. So I rarely talk much about it. I will tell you that during that time, I lived out of my backpack. We did a lot of survival out there. I built a makeshift cabin outside of Dunsmuir, California, near Mount Shasta. That was my little retreat spot. I'd go fishing, hunting, everything when I had to get away from everything out there. But I mean, I'm talking snaring ground squirrels to fishing with a hot dog. I had enough money to buy a pack of hot dogs, and it lasted me 2 days, and I had one hot dog left, and I just broke it up and made trout lines and actually caught trout. That was in Kalispell, Montana. Outside behind a Walmart store, there's a river running right behind it, and I was camped out back there, and sure enough, trout, they like hot dogs.
Wow. I know we like to watch a show my husband and I called Alone, and that's where have you seen that, where they drop these people out in just desolate areas of the world? They have to now sometimes I think I'd like to do that, but I'm not physically capable. But I think you can do it. Have you? Well, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I love it. I applied for Alone, and I also applied for Naked and Afraid, and I got turned down for Naked and Afraid. I'm pretty sure it's because I'm, just too good looking. No, I think it's because I knew too much stuff. So now that I'm married, my wife said, even if they call, you're not going. But now when it comes to Alone, because of the prize money, she said, you better not come home with that, because she knows I'll be fine out there. But it is a very difficult situation. There's a YouTuber, Joe Robette. He does survival train. I probably messed up his last name. He was actually on Alone. And I followed him for a very long time, and I still watch his shows when he comes out on YouTube. But he lost his fire starter like 3 weeks in.
Oh, is he the one that lost it and had to go home because he couldn't make fire?
Couldn't make fire. He had set it down, and the tide came in, And I was so upset because I watched this guy live, build shelters and stuff. I knew he knew his stuff from just listening to him talk and what he actually showed, and he lost that. And in that situation where they stay until the last person. And it's a hard show to do, because when you watch it, it's not who outlasts the other, because if you're losing too much weight, they'll call medical on you and they will pull you because you haven't took enough body fat in. And in that situation, I've seen them where they're taking down moose and stuff like that, and rabbits. All right. Moose is hard to get. Okay.
Right.
You're not there with a gun. You're out there with maybe a bow and arrow if that's what you chose to do. Fish, on the other hand, has a lot of good oils, have a lot of good fat. You can get fat off fish, especially the salmon and trout and stuff. So that would be my way of going about things, is doing the fishing. As far as trying to survive off a rabbit, you're not going to, the meat's way too lean. You will starve yourself.
Well, if you get down alone, we'll be your cheerleaders, because that is a cool show. Now, and you remember there was a guy who he had a lot of fish and he had dried it, but he was storing it up. He thought he would, to have it for later, and he didn't eat it. And they came and took him out because he was so skinny. He had lost so much weight, but yet he had all this fish. Yeah. And he just, I didn't want to eat it. And then he said, I'll start eating it. And they were like, no, it's too late. He was too late. So, but it's a mental thing. It's a mental thing. He was storing it up, because he knew winter was going to be hard, but then he wasn't eating it. So he lost all that weight. Then there was a guy that was on there, and he built all kinds of stuff. He made a checkerboard, and he played games with himself and stuff.
I saw that one.
Do you remember that? And he was really doing great, but he got to the point where he couldn't take it anymore because he missed his family too much.
Missed his wife. Yeah.
He missed his wife. But he had done so many great things that I would thought, he's going to make it to the end. He had food. He had, he kept himself busy carving things and making things. But nope, the mental stress got to him. So it's interesting. Solitary alone out there will get to you. I mean, there's been times when I was out there just quiet as can be, and when you don't have any protection, I mean, you got a lean-to built or some type of shelter, debris shelter, and you start hearing things moving around you, and you can hear the breathing from larger animals. I was out of West Glacier, Montana. I had a bear come right into my shelter. My dog I had with me stood up and just peed. He urinated right there inside the little shelter I built. Well, I had a bang on me at the time, and I emptied the whole clip right in his face, and it just bounced off his head. It was enough to back him off of me and decide he didn't want nothing of me. Yeah. I almost became bear poop. He could have got me. I mean, he was that quick on me, and he moved real quiet. I did not hear him coming. No, that's the thing. I can usually hear animals. He was real quiet. I've had black bears stalk me for miles, just keep on for days at a time, follow me. I've had wolves surround my shelter. I was in Ogden, Utah. It was a lone wolf by himself. He was injured, and I didn't know he was injured at the time, but he followed me for a long time, and all I had was a tarp, and I took twigs and basically tied them together like a dome and used my tarp over because it was snowing. Once the snow started coming down, I just started packing around, and I could hear him coming around. The next day I come out, and I could see the tracks. He'd been following me, and I kept on seeing this scoop out in between the footprints. I couldn't figure out what it was. Later I saw him. He had a damaged foot. I don't know if it got hung up in a trap somewhere or something like that, but yeah, so he was by himself. In other words, that type of animal will get you. All right, he's looking for the easy prey, and a human by himself is an easy prey. He's not scared of you. He's hungry. Now, the larger packs and stuff, they really don't mess with people that much. Coyotes usually don't, but I have heard of coyotes actually attacking people, and that's because they're off by themselves and they are hungry. If they get right up on top of you all the time, they're not scared of you. Most animals are, but if they're not showing fear, time to move on.
We have coyote packs here, and now we have cougar a little bit. It's we have cougar, but that's a rare occasion here. but they live here. And where I live in my local area, within about 30 miles, they did release wolves at one time, and they released and timber rattlers for the, I guess, the echo. What is it? The predator situation, right?
Oh, yeah, just for the ecology.
Ecology, yeah.
It was for environmental reasons.
Right.
There you go. Sounds good to me.
That's right. Wow, this has been great.
This has been great. Oh, there's 11, Pagan 11. Yes, you made it, dear. You made it.
Yes, you did.
You did. Well, just kind of wrapping it up, survival. Just give us something, if you can, basic. Okay, we're a couple of grandmas. We're senior citizens. So as a senior person, what kind of advice could you give me? So give me some advice.
So for basic natural disasters, all right, you're talking about ice storms, hurricanes, things like that. Yeah. Most of these preps fall into play with most scenarios, even the larger scenarios. They're pretty much the same type of stuff. I always tell people to buy normal food, or your canned goods and your dry goods, your pastas, things like that. Vacuum sealing helps make the life stretch further on these foods. It's not required to get a vacuum sealer, but start getting food. Start small, $5 a week if that's all you can afford. You can get a lot of food for $5 a week, and over time it builds up very quickly. Next thing you know, you don't have any room in your cupboards. Regular canned food, dry goods first. Work on getting up to a year's supply. If you can, go to a 2-year supply. Now you have plenty of food no matter what happens. Just like when I was hurt, I wasn't making much money on workman's comp. I was able to eat off our preps because those are normal foods. All right, we didn't have to worry about trying to get food at the grocery store. After you have that type of food, start getting into water filtration. You can actually buy water filtration before you get a year's supply. I do recommend that. One of the quickest ones people always show is the life straws. All right.
I have some
life
of those.
Straw. These filters are about $20, Walmart, or you can go to online and stuff like that. These things are only good for about 1,000 gallons. All right. Now these do not filter out lead or anything else like that, or pesticide. It's just strictly bacteria. It's to keep you from getting dysentery and stuff. Yeah. E. coli and stuff that you're going to want to get sick off of. It only works for bacteria, not viruses. So that's always one, the quick one people go to. Personally, I like the Sawyer Minis. So yeah, I got a whole water filtration box over here. I like boxes. So
now I have
Sawyer Mini.
We have this one.
Oh, the Seychelles. Yes, and is that
okay?
Now some of those will filter out radioactivity stuff.
Those I don't know. Yeah. We've had this about 6 years.
Yeah. Now
what is the filter gallon wise? Did it say?
No.
Those are 100 gallon. Those are 100 gallon.
Yeah, that sounds like the S3s with Sawyer Minis, the S2 and S1s. The S3 with Sawyer, it'll filter out just about everything, but you only get like 60 some uses out of it. And it's like $63. So you're basically paying $1 per use.
Yeah.
The Sawyer Mini, it's a little tiny thing, $20. It comes with a little bladder bag, and it's got a plunger. This plunger is to back flush your systems. All right. Now with this back flush here, you get 100,000 gallons out of this, compared to 1,000 gallons out of the Life Straw. So that's why we like the Sawyer Minis, because you get more for it. But again, this is only for bacteria. It's the exact same filtration system, same internals as a Life Straw. Just with a back flush, you get a longer use.
Okay, and then bacterial. Okay.
Yeah, that's only bacterial.
Okay.
Then you got water tablets. This is the potable aqua. You get them at Walmart. You just put the tablet in, you let it, the chemical reaction take care of filtering out the water. Personally, I like the Coleman 2-stage better. Comes in 2 different containers. The reason why is faster acting. 30 minutes you'll have drinking water, compared to 4 to 6 hours is what it takes on this one.
With those, yes.
Pool shock. Pool shock is always good to have. Pool shock, you can, I made a video on how to use pool shock.
Yes.
You dilute it into a 5-gallon bucket with 4 gallons of water, and you only take a certain percentage of that mixture per gallon of water for clearing out that water.
I saw that. It makes bleach, right?
Yes, it makes a bleach solution. Now, that does not protect you against chemicals or pesticides. All right. Now, if you're getting rid of viruses or bacteria in the water, you can go that route. Now, if you got your mixture wrong, you're gonna taste it. It's gonna burn the back of your throat. You know, if you ever drink pool water by accident, your throat gets real dry and stuff, that means your mixture is a little too strong. So, easy way to do it, just dilute it a little bit more. So for water filtration, I mean, like I said, we're real big on the Sawyer. We're not affiliated with them. I've used them for a very long time. Not had any major issues. Of course, I got another bag over here. Of course I do. Sawyer also has the gravity fed camp filter. So these are gallon containers, little bladder bags.
Oh.
And they come with, basically it's a Sawyer Mini on, that attaches to it, and it just gravity fades and filters out. Your Sawyers, when you use them, you always have to squeeze your bottle or your bladder bag to get the water out. This one here flows a lot easier. You just set it up and it'll just start draining through. So these are a little bit more pricier. I think they're about $40 at Walmart. But when I went camping, I took it with us and we did a test on it and everything. Works great as far as filtering out, again, bacteria only. Tannins and stuff like that doesn't. Tannins won't hurt you in the water unless you're like me. I have ulcers, and that tannin from acorns, which made our water real red at the campsite, it burns my belly. It just hurts me as far as my ulcers, and it won't purify that out. But if you boil the water out, you can. Boiling water is one of the best ways of ever doing water purification. You just filter it out. Now, we've shown how to make your own charcoal. A basic charcoal filter will filter out a lot of water. When I did that video, I kept calling it activated carbon. It's not. It's charcoal. Activated carbon is processed with a higher temperature. It's like 800 degrees Celsius, and it's purged with gas like argon. I think you can use carbon dioxide too, but I don't have a setup for that. That's how they make hard activated carbon. So what I was making was just charcoal, but one of the early water filters is charcoal. You can actually use it to filter out a lot. And like I showed in that video, I had some nasty water and I just kept running it through that filter and it clear enough. What we're filtering out, and once it's clear, boil it and you're good. Sometimes when you boil water on a campfire though, it has a real smoky flavor to it. Just reoxygenate it, pour it in one container and pour it into the other container. Just keep doing that and it'll reoxygenate the water. And it makes it
like that.
Yes, and it will take the flavor of that smoke out. And also, again, if it's real smoky and you got ulcers, you're gonna feel it. You'll have a burning sensation in your belly. So that does work. I had someone say, "Well, water's H2O has already got oxygen." If you ever picked up a glass of water that's been out for a while and it kind of tastes a little stale, just mix it around a little bit and it'll reoxygenate. Kind of like when you do fish pumps, a fish tank. You have a waterfall, it's putting oxygen back into the tank. That's all it's doing. And it's picking oxygen up and putting it back in. So that's how easy way to do that. So water filtration definitely is a good idea. Have containers. It doesn't matter what type of container it is. I mean, you can go all tactical and have your big old canteens and all that good stuff. That's actually what we pulled off for a bug out bag. 2-liter bottles, gallon jugs, something to store water. You don't have to have all the water in the world. I mean, I would love to have all the water in the world stored up, but it's not feasible. All right, so have a water filtration, but have water on hand. We have ways of collecting rainwater, stuff like that. But as long as you have water on hand, it gives you enough time to find water to purify. So as long as you have something to hold you over for a while. And this is just basic stuff. So don't, you can get really in depth with stuff. This is just basic. Always have food in the vehicle or a bug out bag. Something that you're going to throw in the vehicle, a get home bag. But you never know when you get stuck. All right. Mountain House is a good quality product. You boil up water, put it in, it cooks itself. It's like anywhere from $5 to $8 a pack. Each one's just this in here is 2.5 servings in this one. Okay. So no, I'm not affiliated with Mountain House. It's just we put those in our bug out bags. We put those in our get home bags. We keep them in the vehicle because I know that no matter what happens, my wife, if she's in the vehicle and it does not run, if something happens, she knows how to start a fire. She can boil water, and she has a hot meal while I'm coming. So we have plans for everything.
That's great. Have a plan.
I like lights. I like lights. So I have a lot of flashlights, and I mean, I'm a light person. I got my headlamp. I've got this one that stays on my refrigerator. It's got a big magnet on it, and it has several settings. I love flashlights, and I found this lantern.
Yep. So
I'm a flashlight light person because I don't like to be in the dark. So this stays right next to me in my little thing by my bed, and then the refrigerator, and then I keep that on hand too in the kitchen. But I think we should have lights. And one thing I did want to say, I have a bug-in bag because I don't anticipate, unless there's, if I'm out and about, right? I anticipate my situation, we'd be bugging in. So I have a bag that I've collected stuff in, medical supplies, Band-Aids, that kind of thing, the life straws, the fire starter, a radio, a crank radio, and what else? I do have a shovel in case you have to dig. I could take this bag with me if I have to go, but I call it my bug-in bag or my emergency bag, and so I've got stuff collected in it.
Here's our
yeah, there we go. We got those together. Yeah, our little shovels. So
those things work great when you're digging out of a latrine.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what
it really does.
Speaking of that, I've got my little porta potty thing. I've got that with the little toilet seat. It's just a 5-gallon bucket, but I have the seat to go with it and the liners for it, and I have it all packed in a big cardboard box with toilet paper and pipes.
Yep.
So
I hate to bug out. I hate to bug out, but we're going to try to get ahead of this ice coming in.
Okay.
So, our brother had eye surgery last week, and so this is his weekly checkup to make sure his eye is doing good. So
I know you have to go. So
I hate to bug out, Survivor Living. This has been
no
wonderful.
problem at all.
I want to give you some granny kisses. Mwah. And thank you so much. I've taken notes, lots of notes. So you think that Sawyer is a good name, but it only removes the bacteria. So you can take a shower. You can take a shower and drink.
You can take a shower. It only works for bacteria unless you get into the higher end ones, the little squeeze bottle ones. And they're about $1 per use on those. I mean, they're not cheap.
Sounds good though. Sounds good.
Lynn, I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
Bye, both of you. Bye, Ann.
And I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye, both of you.
Bye, Lynn.
The other thing, let's see. Is we have the little camping shower bags where you can fill it with water and let the sun warm it up, and then you can take. It's like a couple gallons. You can hang it from a tree or something for the camping.
It's the solar showers.
Yeah, solar shower. I do have one of those. So there's a lot of things that you can get and have on hand, and hopefully you never need these things, right? We hope we never need them, but if you need them, you've got them. And even I went to the CDC website and just to see what they had to say about all prepping and all this kind of stuff. And this is what the CDC says: to have an emergency kit. And this is the little checklist. It said you need water, and it's 1 gallon per person per day. You need enough food to last at least 3 days. Now, some people are saying at least 2 weeks. And I mean, as far as the CDC goes, flashlight, a radio, extra batteries. Batteries. Got to have lots of batteries. A first aid kit, medications, especially anything that you take. And if you can get ahead on some of them, sometimes your doctors may help you on that, or you're over the counter. Family and emergency contact information, extra sets of car keys and house keys, your cell phone and your chargers. And I'm going to say the solar chargers, and then maybe the little banks too.
Yep.
You can get. I have several of those, and I use those all the time. And then personal documents. I guess that'd be important. Extra cash, emergency blankets, maps. Paper maps, right?
Yep.
Those are very important. And then a manual can opener, and that was on their emergency list. But maps are very important. And people don't know how to read maps anymore, do they? Survival
Not
living.
many. Not many. Everyone's stuck on the GPS and stuff. I mean, occasionally we order a pizza, have brought here at the house, and I'm on the phone with them because they parked somewhere else because of their GPS. They don't even know how to read the numbers on the house anymore. Well, I can't find your house. I don't know. Were you in a Grace SUV? Yes. So you parked right in front of my house and drove off. I don't know. It's
so
just
it's not map reading is not, I guess, I don't know if it's not taught in schools anymore, or people. We have a whole generation that has never even grown up with maps. So map reading, find out where you are on a map and help with the. I mean, that's all we had, when I grew up is, and every gas station you stop and they had like a free map of Ohio, or you're in Michigan and you're going, they had Ohio map. We'd always grab them because, or then you buy the big maps, but anyhow, yeah. And AZ Lynn says maps have gotten expensive. Well, I haven't bought one lately, but yes, I would say they probably have.
And also another really easy trick is go right on Google, print off.
Yeah,
we have so many printed off maps, and we have a laminator, and we just laminate our maps. If we have a specific area, we laminate that area off, and we put it in get home bags, because our normal routine, we're not really going much. We go to work, stuff like that. We already know where we're going.
Sure.
Like here, I've spent a lot of years here. I didn't grow up here, but I spent a lot of years here where I'm at right now. I know all the streets here. But there could be an injury to your head or something like that. You don't remember where everything is. Having everything laid out on a map is a good idea. Like you said, they don't teach that. As far as I know, they don't teach map reading anymore. I don't know for sure. But yeah, I mean, learn how to read a map. They're not difficult. Definitely keep paper copies of things. With prepping, we can go in depth with a lot of stuff. But yeah, with lights, absolutely. I don't care if it's the cheap Harbor Freight light. If that's all you can get, you're going to feel a lot better being able to have that light than not have anything at all. I mean, trying to light your way with a Bic lighter is no fun. All right. You're not going to be able to see very much.
This one flashlight I have here, it's a tactical flashlight, and I love it because it's super bright, and I need extra help with light. And so I like the tactical flashlights. Something else I thought of too was a compass. I have a hard time with directions. I mean, as far as, and I'll be going somewhere and I'll use my phone to tell me how to get there, and they'll go turn north. I'm like, oh my gosh, which way is north? So a compass would be helpful if you were in a situation that you didn't know where you were. At least you'd have a compass. You could keep.
Yeah, especially if you're doing maps, have a compass.
Yeah.
You're going to have to reorientate yourself. I mean, I've learned how to watch the sky and stuff like that. But like today, it's completely cloudy out here. It's all haze. You can't even see the sun. I can't even tell where the sun is in position out here. It's just all haze. So having a compass nearby, especially if you're lost, stuff like that, and you have a map, you can go in more in depth with topographical maps and things like that. Now, when you start messing with that, start taking courses. Okay, just grabbing a topographical map and run out to the woods, you're going to get lost. All right, so take your courses on that first. There's plenty of online courses. A great channel is Reality Survival. Go to his earlier films before he took his break and stuff. He teaches map reading. For those that's never done map reading, it's a very good course. I've actually watched it just to see what he was talking about. He's actually spot on that information. Check it out. There's a lot of really good YouTubers
Who
Reality Survival.
Reality Survival. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to write that down.
And just check through, when you go to the videos, just click on older videos. You have a list, newer videos, older videos. And a lot of these larger YouTubers, a lot of people get upset. Well, they're always trying to sell me something. They don't teach anything. Just click on older videos. Back when they used to do all that stuff. Now, later they became bigger and now they're more of a business, but all their old information is still there. So just take the time. If you don't want to buy something from them, well, don't buy anything from them.
Sure.
Just check their information out. They're not telling you have to go buy it.
Right.
And a lot of people get shut, when they see someone being sold something like, oh, I'm not watching that guy anymore. Try to sell me something. YouTube's a business. It really is. I mean, I do the survival stuff, but if I try to make a buck off of something because I'm showing my knowledge, is that really a bad thing? I mean, I'm still showing you the knowledge for free.
Right. Right.
A lot of people get upset about it. But now if I got up here and told you, we're all not going to make it unless you go buy this ounce of silver, now that's when you say, okay, hold on a second.
Time out.
That's when you should say something about that. Yeah, but other than that, just because I show a product, hey, check this out, this is what I come across. Hey, if you don't want it, if you're not interested in it, just say, hey, I'm not interested in it. No big deal.
Now, Totally T says that she's going to make a map game for her family, scavenger hunt style. That would be fun. That would be
that's a good way to get people into reading maps. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a great. And Tina says, great show. I'm going to have to come back here several times and take notes. Well, thank you. I hope you do. That's great. That's great, Tina. Yeah. There's a lot of information in today's show, and boy, we just want to thank Survival Living for being with us today. This is
absolutely.
We have learned so much, and I got to go back over all my notes because I want to be sure. I just want to say here, I watched you make electricity from the pennies. That was cool. That was cool.
Well,
now, could you go beyond that though? Because it didn't have an on and off switch. It just was a little red light.
Yeah, no, there wasn't an on and off switch on that one. I think I was pushing 3.5 volts through that. I think I had like 7 pennies on that. We're using vinegar.
That was cool.
Directly the wire on it. It ran for about 3 days before the vinegar had dried out.
Really?
And the pennies over time will get corrosion on them, so you got to sand them back down where the zinc is. But it's just a little project just to be messing around with something. You could always put a little switch on it or something like that if you wanted to. The idea of creating power from nothing is what was interesting. I don't know if you could actually use it for survival or not. I just thought it was pretty interesting, so I was going to do it on my show.
I think it was really cool. I thought it was really cool. That'd be a great project for children to show them how to do that, And I just was wondering, man, I wonder if you could put an on-off switch on it. That was just kind of my question. But I thought that was
you could.
Cool. And then you put out trail cams, and I've always wanted one, and I would like to have one here just to watch the deer. Believe it or not, I'm in this little subdivision. They call it a village. It's a village, and we have deer come right up in the village, and they're right in my backyard. We had 4 of them the other night. Then one was a buck. And there was a couple of does and I think a baby. And so did have a trail cam just to watch nature. But what do you do with is that what you do with your trail cams? Just to watch what's coming around, the nature?
Yeah, when I come across tracks and stuff, I'll set it up just to see how large it is. And we do have predators in the area too. We got foxes and we got coyotes out here. Actually, I grabbed the trail cam the other day and I was tracking possum and raccoons. I did get some shots of them. It was really weird. I have to put it on my channel. I haven't done it yet. I've got a shot of a house cat and a possum together.
Oh!
I never would have figured that ever. They were both. I had set a can of tuna out just to help bring in the tracks, bring the animals back in because everything loves tuna. And I staked it down. Well, the cat and possum, they were having a hard time with it. The raccoon, unfortunately, figured out how to slide that can off the stake. And he's a big fella too. So my dad always told me where his RV's parked at. He's like, man, he said, there's a big old possum running around here. He keeps on knocking my septic pipe loose. I'm like, why would a possum do that? Oh, yeah, it's here. I got him on camera, too. It wasn't near a septic pipe. It's back there on the back trails where I like to do all my outdoor footage and stuff like that. So I did get a picture of it. My camera is not state of the art. It's one of the cheaper ends, so it just takes still shots. It doesn't do video, but it does have the IR, so it does the night shots and everything. And sure enough, about 2:20 a.m., there they are, both of them. So yeah, I got some good shots off of it.
Oh, I think that would be neat to have.
But having trail cams and other situations is a good idea. You can hide them very easily. I spray paint up mine so I can easily identify it. Because if you leave it out for a while and it's camoed, sometimes you forget where you put things. At least I do. So mine's set up a certain color just for now. Later, of course, I changed it into more camouflage if I was doing patrols or security purposes. And those would come in play later on in different scenarios. If you think somebody's moving around, you can always check your cameras and see, oh, we got people moving in this back part of our yard, or they're on film. So now you know you can be watching a certain location, stuff like that.
Well, the other thing that we need to remember too, in all prepping for ourselves, is we need to prep for our pets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
don't we?
Absolutely.
We need to make sure that we take care of our little animals, our pets, because they're special and precious to us. We want to make sure that they have plenty of their food and medicine right along with ours.
Yep. And water is definitely key. I know CDC said about a gallon of water per person a day. That is just the bare minimum. You need a gallon of water for your vital organs to work per day. All right. Now, in survival, you use a lot more water. Washing, cooking, showers, bathrooms, all that stuff. And your pets drink water too.
Yes.
So, you need to adapt that. That's why we're real big on water purification, because you can only store so much water in one spot in your home, or you're going to have a whole room full of gallon jugs. So we keep a certain amount on hand, and we already identified water sources in our area. Like where I'm at, the water table from rainwater and everything is really high. Okay, I'm just a couple feet, I hit water. And that's why I was showing people how you dig water out. The same process can be used anywhere. Now, we have to go deeper? Absolutely, but that's how they used to dig hand wells. They dug it by hand. Yeah. Now, it's easier where I'm at because after a couple feet, I'm in water. But that water, you can't just drink straight out. There's a lot of contaminants in it because there's not enough filtration in it. So it has to be filtered out, boiled off, or you're going to wind up with all kind of stuff in it because it's not pure water. It's not pure groundwater. It's groundwater that has been saturated from your rain. But if you look at old survival books and stuff, they even teach you to look for depression at the bottom of the hill. Depression is the lowest spot. That's where you want to dig at, because when it does rain, that's going to be your best source of finding water, is where that depression is. So having water for your pets is definitely key. We've got about a year's supply of hay for my wife's rabbits and their pellets and their little snacks and stuff. And then we went the next step up. We started investing in hay seeds so we can actually grow their own food. Rabbits, however, do not have a very long life expectancy, as far as I guess about the same as a dog. I mean, my wife's rabbit is 12 years old and the other one's 10. So that's a pretty good while.
Yeah, that's a lot. One of my daughters they have a rabbit, a great big fat. He's beautiful. Her name is Diamond. She's a big gray rabbit. But you don't think about all these things you have to take care of your pets. It's really important to have all their treats and food and all that good stuff. And let's see. I think I am at the bottom of all my notes. This has been a wonderful show. Thank you so much. Is there any? I'm going to look and see. Does anybody else out there have a question or a comment before we go for survival living? Let's see here. This is your chance. Throw your questions out there. Anybody want to say something before we go? Let's see. There's a lot of good comments, a lot of good talking among the people. So anyhow,
I will say this, when we're talking about the camping gear and stuff like that, if you guys buy gear and stuff, take it outside and test it out. All right. We get all these supplies and stuff and it just sits on the shelf. Take it out and make sure it works. All right. Just because you bought a high dollar and whatever, it doesn't mean it's going to last. take it outside. You know, even if you're just camping in your backyard, take it out, test it out. I had one of those solar battery bank chargers. Well, as it turns out, during the summer when I went camping, the summer heat warped it and caused the battery to swell and it quit working. I was using that as a battery bank to film while I was out there for those 3 days. And then, you know, within one day it no longer worked because the battery got too hot and swelled up in it. So yeah, I mean, take your equipment out and test it out. Make sure it's rugged enough to survive.
Yes, try it out. Try it out. That is great. Let's see what else we had here. Survival. Great show. Thanks for the awesome tips. And that's from AZ Lynn. Let's see. Barefoot Lass asks, any tips for bats in the chimney? Bats in the chimney.
I've never experienced that. That's a good question. I mean, I've been in caves and stuff where I've had fires, and once the smoke and stuff started up, they left, you know, out of the cave area. Is it healthy for them? No, it's not. It's not. I mean, you could probably do that. I don't know if that will work or not. I've been in situations in sheltered areas and stuff like that where we've had bats and stuff in it, and the smoke has run them out. But as long as their nests or whatever it is they live in still there, they'll come back. So I'm pretty sure you're going to have to get somebody to remove whatever it is that they live around. I mean, I know that they hang from certain things, but they're comfortable there for a reason.
Yeah. Tina asks, what's the best for indoor heat in a power outage?
Not gas.
Right.
Don't use your Coleman stove or your Coleman lantern. Now, see, how can I put this? The warning label on the Mr. Buddy heater says do not use indoors. I have to say that.
Oh, but good point.
It says do not use indoors.
Oh.
I have to say that, but you know, I've never had an issue. But it has to be ventilated because it's propane.
What about kerosene heaters?
Kerosene heaters, we've used kerosene heaters my whole life. I've never had any problem. The only thing about kerosene heaters is that when you use them, your house starts smelling like kerosene. It just has that smell. I grew up around it though, and we always had kerosene heaters. Kerosene heaters work very well. You can get the standalone ones. We're going to have those in Wyoming. We got 2 in storage right now. They run us about $160 a piece. They were not cheap. I mean, the heaters nowadays, I mean, it's ridiculous. Right. Kerosene heater works great, but you've got to store kerosene. Luckily, though, kerosene is easier to store than gasoline. It's safer to store than gasoline. Kerosene heaters work very well. If you get the ones with the metal grate, you know, the safety grate around the heater itself, it's got the nice little grate on top. You can boil water off of it. I've never tried to cook off of it, but I boiled water off of it. It's directly over it. So you're saving some way of cooking.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. We have one of those. I haven't thought of that. We use it sometimes out in our garage. And then there's those other blast heaters. Are they? I think they're kerosene too, or not kerosene. They're propane also, aren't they? You know what I'm talking about? They actually have like a little fire in them. They
look like
they
got a jet engine cone on the end of it. Yeah, the space heater. Well, the jet heaters. The ones we had were diesel. Those are the ones we used in the welding shops to warm up there in North Carolina. Those were all diesel ones. I don't know if they got a kerosene one. I have to take a look. There might be one. I haven't seen a gasoline one of those, but there could be. So yeah, I mean, but trying to use that in a very small area, that's a lot of force coming out of it. So I wouldn't recommend that for a home. Yeah. Now, if it's a large building, yeah, that's why they have that projection push, try to get the heat out. But for a house, just a regular standalone kerosene heater works very well. I wouldn't say electric. Electric uses a lot. Now, we have electric heat, but we have a lot of solar batteries and solar. Right. And we have a standalone generator we can fire up to recharge if we got really bad days, you know, not enough solar energy coming in. I know Vlad, he helped me with hooking up my shunt for our solar equipment. He did a video just for me because I was getting all the wires mixed up really bad. So he did a video for me, and I downloaded it, so I always had it, hooking up that digital shunt and everything. He uses wind turbines. We have wind turbines in storage for Wyoming, where I'm at right now. The wind hardly blows, so we no sense of putting it up. But later on, when you start working more on your preparedness, solar, wind turbines, and yeah, they are more expensive, but you're building a power bank. So that is power. So it's something to look at further on down the road. I won't tell you to sit there and go spend $20,000 on a solar bank tomorrow when you don't have a can of food in your house.
Right.
Get your food and water purification first.
Yeah, that's where you start. And then think Agape Love, always and forever, said candles with the terracotta pot on top warms a small space. There's videos on YouTube how to do it. I've watched those videos too, but I've never tried it. Do you know, have you ever tried that, survival living?
I've never tried it. I can tell you as a welder, iron worker, if you heat up a piece of steel and it is suspended in a room, it's going to get warm. Metal holds heat and it radiates heat. So if you have a way of heating up a piece of steel, like even if you take an old frying pan and you set it over something, it gets hot enough, it retains that heat and radiates that heat out a lot. So yeah, I can definitely see the process working. I've never done that particular process, but like welding in a lot of small spaces and stuff, just heating up that steel, it gets hot. So yeah, I definitely see it working.
Mm-hmm. Well, wow. This has been just such a great show. Lots of great information. And we want to thank Survival Living, CFP, to be with us. And we want everybody, all of our subs, to sub to him at Survival Living. Be sure you go over there, hit his bell and subscribe to Survival Living. And I guess we're just going to say goodbye and thank you so much. You've given us a nice long interview today. I'm so happy that you spent this time with us. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm definitely glad to be here. I was up earlier than I usually am. I woke up like 4 something and turned on the coffee. I couldn't get back to sleep. Like I know as soon as I go to bed, the alarm will be going off and I'll be cranky. So may as well get up now.
Well, we are glad you got up with us today. And will you come back sometime?
Absolutely. Just let me know. I'll be happy to.
Okay. All right. And I want to thank our moderators today. And thank all of you for being with us today. And if you're new to our channel, I hope you'll come back sometime and see us. Oh, before we go, I have a special video I want to show who's going to be with us next week. Will you stay with us for a minute, Survival Living? Okay. We got a wonderful show for you next Wednesday. Make sure you're here next Wednesday.
On the next all-new live, The Ann Lynn Show, Totally Tea. Protect your health, prepare your family for real-life situations, and more. These are the goals of the Totally Tea channel, to empower people with easy-to-follow steps to simplify and enrich your life. Be here Wednesday, February the 17th at 10 a.m. for Totally Tea.
So Totally Tea will be here next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So we're looking so forward to seeing her and all the information she's going to bring us. And so we hope that you all will come back next time too. And Survival Living, again, thank you so very much for being our guest today. And everybody have a wonderful day. And we will see you next Wednesday. Okay, come back next time.
Definitely appreciate it. And so y'all know Totally T is a really cool chick. Love talking to her. She got a great channel she started. Definitely recommend go check her out and definitely subscribe over there too.
Yes, everybody check out Totally T's channel. Hit that subscription. Hey, I'm going to show this one more time just for giggles. Goodbye, everybody.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're trying to. Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.